Hi everyone, this is Elena of the Witches Box, and I'm here today with another episode of Witch Booktube. And today we're going to be covering a book called Initiated by Amanda Yates Garcia. I know a lot of you have seen this book out there, beautiful pictures. But before we get into it, because this has become a thing, the lipstick I'm wearing today is by Almay, another drugstore brand, which is really good, super moisturizing. I really love it. The color is called Get Crazy. I wore it in another video already. It's a cardboard component, which I actually really appreciate. Beautiful, fun, cute, do you see? And it's a great berry color. Love it. Anyway, that's a lipstick. Today's book is by Amanda Yates Garcia. And as I said before, this has been making the rounds. The cover is gorgeous. It's a hardcover book with this gorgeous jacket. Really beautiful. Here's the back. Beautiful imagery. It's a gorgeous satin feel. A pretty chunky book. And it's a memoir. So it's the first time on this channel that we've covered a memoir, and I'm going to read to you her bio and just jump into my thoughts about it. So hold on a second, let's read this up. Amanda Yates Garcia is a writer, artist, professional witch, and the Oracle of Los Angeles. Her work has been featured on various platforms spanning the Los Angeles Times to Glamour, as well as a viral appearance on Tucker Carlson's Tonight. She has led workshops on magic and witchcraft across Los Angeles and is the co-host of the popular Strange Magic podcast. Initiated is her first book. This was published by Grand Central Publishing. It's interesting. I picked up this book for two reasons. One, because it's been getting a lot of airtime. I've been seeing it all over Instagram and on Facebook and on Goodreads as people really have been raving about it and saying that it was really, really good. It has to do with witchcraft, but also because it's a memoir. It's not that reading has become for me about work, but there's definitely for me a little bit of a different mindset when I'm reading a book that I know I'm going to want to share with you, as opposed to a book that I just want to consume and immerse myself in and just have that beautiful escapist experience when you read a book, or learning but for myself, which is different than reading it, learning it, and then putting together ideas for what would be salient and important to share with all of you. So I thought, oh my gosh, a memoir would be so amazing, and it's a fellow witch. She's in LA. She speaks to and quotes a lot of people who I have either worked with or have read and learned from extensively as well. So there were all these connections, and I thought this was just going to be something really indulgent and fun and all those things. It was going to be a little bit more detached, I guess, from quote unquote work. So that's why I picked it up, and I realized, gosh, I think that I really want to do a little bit more diving into memoirs. I think that the more we get these, the more they're going to serve our broader community and giving us different examples of all of our different lives. We all come to this path differently from different places with different baggage, but also different belief systems. And I think that there's something really beautiful to be learned there, that even though we all share the label witch or pagan, we are so individual. There's so much that makes up who we are. And so even the fact that we are all witches, we are all very much unique. And I think that memoirs can give us a much broader understanding of other people, of each other, especially in this community. So I enjoyed it. It was great to read as part of my quote unquote break, even though it wasn't really a full break. And it was very well written. She's an incredible writer. I don't really have a critique or a review of her story because it's her story. What I really loved about it was, again, that it gives you a very intimate view into one witch's trajectory and life. It also speaks to the different people who throughout her life wove knowledge into her path. It speaks to the challenges and difficulties that sometimes we each all have to go through in order to grow through our lives. The lessons that we learn, sometimes the difficult lessons, sometimes the gloriously ecstatic lessons. Here's what I really appreciated, and it spoke to a part of me and where I'm at today. So one of the beautiful things about reading memoirs, I think, is that when you find something that's relatable, you get to see how someone else is experiencing that. And it can serve to heal a lot, which I find to be one of the beautiful things about memoirs. But I really appreciated her sharing her relationship with her mother, who was also a witch, and what that looked like. So many of us come to witchcraft when our families are not part of that path at all, and that can be a sense of difficulty, but this gives you an inside view into having a parent who was a witch and what that was like for her. I appreciated too the honesty about her relationship with her mother. A mother she loves deeply, who she respects, but as with every single, I'm so surrounded by this right now. This is why I so related to it. Relationships with parents, however amazing they were, can still be fraught with difficulty, with challenges, with power struggles, with misunderstandings, with unmet expectations, even though the intentions were always pure and loving. Do you know what I mean? I'm just really, I am really, really deep in my own personal journey with just being aware, just aware. I don't have any answers. I have no answers, but I'm just deeply aware of how fraught and emotional and intimate and vulnerable relationships with parents can be. And so I really appreciated her sharing that. And I appreciated the honesty, because it's never one thing. It's always usually everything at once. It's painful and beautiful and empowering and disempowering and all of those things wrapped in one. And she really conveys that in a way that felt very natural, very honest, and very relatable, even though I did not grow up with a mother who was a witch, but I still felt I got it. I got it in a big way. I think that Amanda is a little younger than I am, even though a lot of what she shared was very similar to where I was in LA at my time when I was growing up as a witch. Even though my experience was not hers at all, there is some intersection there. And so it gave me a peek into that other arm, that other witch culture that was kind of coming up in different ways around that time, which I appreciated very much because I kind of had inklings of different things. I wasn't part of a lot of it. I had a very insular, very specific experience in LA during that time. Maybe a little bit earlier than her. I don't know. I really enjoyed it. If you are interested in learning about other witches out there and their experience, I think it's a fantastic book. I find that winter is such a cozy time to be reading. This is a perfect book to be inside when it's cold out there with a warm drink, curled up, and just immerse yourself in another story. I really, really appreciated the intelligence, the self-awareness in this book. The writing was beautiful. I appreciated the honesty and the capacity to understand and embody the fact that relationships and our path is usually everything at once. It's never all bad. It's never all good. It's all of it. All of it. And there is a lot of spiritual maturity there when you can understand that it's never just one thing. It's not black and white. And she conveyed a lot of that really beautifully in a lot of nuance. There it is. Amanda Yates Garcia, Memoir of a Witch. It's called Initiated. I would totally get this book. I recommend it. She did a beautiful job. There it is. So if you've read this, because I know I'm probably a little late to the game. This book was released, I think, middle of this year. I'm not sure, but it was just recently released, and I'm a little late in the game to read it. But you know that I'm not kind of keeping up with the fad. I just kind of read what I pick up. But yeah, it was released in 2019, so it was released sometime this year. You have probably already read it. If you have, I'd love to hear your thoughts on it. If you haven't, pick it up. Definitely read it, and then come back and tell me what you think about it. And that's it. I hope that you're having a wonderful beginning of the year, and that your reading is rich, transformative, and educational. And we will talk